until the morning of September 15, 1963. They were at the 16th Street Baptist Church when the 19 sticks of dynamite exploded under the bathroom floor. Them and 2 other little girls were killed. Nearly a dozen were injured. This just inspired me even more to accomplish my goals. After graduating high school from St. Mary's Academy at 16 and receiving my master's degree in political science from the University of Notre Dame in 1975, I received my PhD in political science from Joseph Corbell's School of International Studies. In the following years, many of my colleagues had the same question. Why was I Republican? I'm Republican because of my father, John Rice. He was once a Democrat until he tried to vote. The Democrats refused to let him vote. The Republicans allowed him to. And from that moment on, he was a Republican. Anyway, in 1989, with the help of Brent Scowcroft, the National Security Advisor, I got the position I'm currently working as, which is Director of East Europe and Soviet Affairs. Here I work with my good friend Robert Blackwell. We help America solve many foreign issues. Excuse my Kansas accent, I'm Robert Blackwell. I am the Senior Director of East Europe and Soviet Affairs under the National Security Advisor. Condi is my right-hand man, or should I say woman. Like Condi said, we help America solve many foreign issues. And in East Europe, there is a lot of foreign issues going down. One of which is the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall separated the West Berlins who believed in democracy from the East Berlins of East Germany who believed in communism. This was all until November 9, 1989, when the Berlin Wall collapsed. There was a strong sense that in the absence of the Berlin Wall and the Soviet Union, that there would be chaos. As Director of East Europe and Soviet Affairs, I had the idea that if Moscow, London, Paris, and Washington, the 4 powers that defeated the Soviet Union during World War II, could get together, then the decisions on Germany's reunification could be made easier, quicker, and more efficiently. We started initial talks on March 1990. By September 12, 1990, the treaty was signed. I helped write this treaty, and since I am in politics, I know it's not the last time I will have to make tough decisions under pressure. After becoming the Senior Director of East Europe and Soviet Affairs, I became the National Security Advisor under President George Bush. On September 11, 2001, the terrorist group Al-Qaeda attacked the United States, killing thousands and thousands of innocent people. President George Bush made a promise to America that the United States would hunt down and punish those responsible for these cowardly acts. Now it was my job to help carry out that promise. We believe that the leader of the Al-Qaeda terrorist group, Osama bin Laden, was being harbored in Iraq, as well as weapons of mass destruction. On October 2002, Congress voted overwhelmingly to use military force in Iraq after our Vice President Dick Cheney stressed to the veterans of foreign wars that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction. Many political figures disagreed with our decision. Brent Scowcroft and Scott Ritter both read op-eds sharing their opinion, and even went on television programming campaigning against the war. Though this wasn't going to stop us. To share my opinion on the matter, I wrote a column on January 24, 2003, named Why We Know Iraq is Lying. In this article, I stated, Iraq is treating inspections as a game. It should know that time is running out. On February 2003, the U.S. and Britain wanted to attack Iraq, but sought the UN's approval. On March 2003, we were done waiting and we attacked Iraq. But then another problem arose. Hey, my fellow Americans, I'm George Bush, your 43rd president. After we attacked Iraq, Condi made another tough decision. She decided to she decided to testify in front of the 9/11 Commission. These investigators believed that 9/11 could have been prevented and wanted to interview me, Condi, and Dick Cheney. She went through a 3-hour interrogation with tricky, intense questions and many accusations, but she held her composure. Even though she went on stand, me and Dick Cheney would only speak to the commission under special conditions. Number 1, we couldn't be recorded. 2, we didn't have to take oath. 3, we could only testify together. And 4, any information we shared could not be told to the public. Condi made a brave decision to testify in front of the interrogation. And I believe that makes her a better leader. Hello, I'm Rick Scorcroft. I was National Security Advisor for Gerald Ford and George H.W. Bush. After meeting Condoleezza Rice at a Stanford University event in the 1990s, I knew I had to get to know this young lady. She was bold and opinionated, and in politics, that counts a whole lot. I started inviting her to seminars and conferences, and even appointed her the position of Director of East Europe and Soviet Affairs. In 2001, she became the first African-American woman to become National Security Advisor. But then I noticed something very strange. It seemed to me like she changed her political views to get ahead in her political career. For instance, when she was a provost at Stanford University, her professor, Alan Gilbert, thought she was more towards a Marxist, while I thought she was a realist, only to see her become an idealist for George W. Bush. My good friend Marcus Mabry wrote an article on her named Think Again, which pretty much explains our opinion on her. She changes her political views to get ahead in her political career. Contrary to my fellow coworker Brent Scorcroft's ideas, I do not change my political views to get ahead in my political career. Even though different bosses at various professions have different political views, does not mean I change my political view because I support them. When you occupy a job, you're supposed to support and help carry out your boss's plans, regardless of their political view. And that is exactly what I do at any profession I hold. So, to use the words of your friend Marcus Mabry, Brent Scorcroft, maybe you should think again. After years of international politics, my political career concluded when I became the Secretary of State in 2005 under George W. Bush. This made me the first African-American woman to hold this position.